Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've tried so.
Hey, welcome. My guest this week is Jimmy Dore. And if you're not familiar with Jimmy, he is a great comic. He's got a bunch of albums. He's got Sentence to Live, Jimmy Dore Show, really. He's got, I think, 4 albums or something. I'll put it in the show notes. But he's just a hysterical comic. I met him at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank many years ago, and I just really loved his commentary, his comedy. And he's since really done well with his own political progressive commentary show called The Jimmy Dore Show. And he recently came under fire of the cancellation mob, and we talk about that a little bit. It's a really great episode. I love chatting with Jimmy. So check it out. Jimmy Dore.
I was thinking if my dog could talk, I think the first thing he'd say is, "Oh, I can talk. Let's get one thing straight, Jimmy. I know I'm a good boy." Why do we talk to our dogs like they're hard of hearing foreigners? You would never talk to a person like that. "Hey, Mike, you're a good boy." "Thank you. Stay away from me."
How you been?
Oh boy, it's been rough. Have the whole world coming at you. It's not fun. No matter what people tell you.
Yeah, are you in trouble with something? What's going on?
Well, I started this thing in December called Force to Vote.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of a really easy way to explain it to people who don't follow politics at all. So there's this thing called the Justice Democrats, which AOC is a part of. Mm-hmm. And they're a small group. They're a handful of Democrats whose big thing is that they don't take corporate money.
Right.
And they're for Medicare for all, and they ran on forcing a vote on Medicare for all. But of course, they don't have the power to do that, so that's easy to say. And then when the time comes, because the Democrats are so corrupt and so horrible, they actually lost seats, and so many seats in this election that there was only a handful of seats just separating the Democrats from the Republicans, meaning the Democrats only had a handful of seats, like less than 10, a margin of a majority. And so the first vote that someone casts in a new Congress is for the speaker. And so now the majority was so small, the Democrats were so bad, they lost seats under Trump. Mm-hmm. They're so bad they lost seats under Trump that now the progressives actually have power. They never had power, but now they have not power, but leverage.
Right.
So what I proposed was that you tell Nancy Pelosi, I won't vote for you as speaker unless you agree to bring to the floor for a vote Medicare for all, which is a program everybody on the left agrees. 9 out of 10 Democrats are for Medicare for all, right?
Right.
And so, hey, now you guys have complete control of government. You have complete control of the House.
Yeah.
So what I was saying to the squad, AOC and Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib, those people, the progressives, was that you should do this. You now have leverage. So you just only have a handful of people. And then Cori Bush won and Jamal Bowman. So it expanded their numbers to have enough people to do this. So if they voted as a block in the same way the Freedom Caucus did, which was the Tea Party Freedom Caucus in the House when John Boehner was speaker, they drove him crazy so much that he quit. Because he couldn't get them to go along. So what we were asking them is just do this one thing. And by the way, they all run on it. AOC, I have video after video of her saying, lamenting that we can't even get an up or down vote on Medicare for all on the floor. Who cares? And so I proposed this. It caught on. Everybody realized this is oh my God. For some reason, nobody else did the math and realized that for once, the progressives actually have, and the squad, they actually have a leverage.
Yeah.
And so if they withheld their vote, Nancy Pelosi could not become speaker. So this was very injurious to them because they were not going to cross Nancy Pelosi. They weren't going to cross their party.
Yeah.
And especially in the era of Trump, they just weren't going to do it. They weren't going to do what they ran on doing.
So this was before the election.
So this was after the election. After everybody got elected, the Speaker of the House is elected in January 3rd.
Right.
So in December, I was doing this campaign of Force the Vote, and then a lot of people joined on. Cornel West joined on, Marianne Williamson, Kyle Kalinske.
I think I watched your interview with Cornel West.
Right, Crystal Ball.
Yeah.
That new party, the People's Party, everybody on that joined in. So everybody, and we did a town hall, and 100,000 people showed up, right? So, and guess who didn't? The Democrats, the Justice Democrats, AOC, the Squad, Ro Khanna, Mark Pocan. None of them showed up.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And so it exposed them. And so then what happened was a lot of people who are in the media and who protect the Democrats came at me. And it turns out that happens at The Intercept, too. We just found out how corrupt they were when they fired Glenn Greenwald had to resign because they wanted to censor him over wanting to print a true story. So that's been happening to me. So they came at me hard. AOC went on Twitter and accused me of committing violence to her because I was yelling at her through a webcam in my garage in Pasadena. I had to remind everybody, webcams don't have feelings. And she's one of the most, they're all one of the Squad is one of the most powerful people in the group of people in the world, right? Especially right then. So things like that. So then people who are protective of Democrats started to come at me in the social media. Newsweek ran a smear piece on me. They doxed my house. That was spreading that around Twitter. Anything they could do. And it was just like I didn't see it coming because what I was proposing before I proposed it was not controversial before I proposed it. And as far as the Democrats go, this was not a controversial idea to do this. Only when it came time to they could actually do it, did they find every reason in the world not to do it. Oh, we don't have a plan B. What if, and then they started to lie. Like, well, Kevin McCarthy, the Republicans could become speaker. That's a lie. That's not how it works. If Nancy Pelosi if someone doesn't get a majority of the votes, then you go back and you have to pick someone else to come back. You vote again. You do more rounds of voting. It doesn't, the Republican doesn't, it's not based on a plurality of the votes. So, they use scare tactics. They used me to smearing me and trying to associate Force the Vote with Jimmy Dore. And if we could trash his character, then we could trash Force the Vote. And so that happened everywhere. The Intercept came after me, Newsweek. Again, everybody on social media who protects the Democrats, especially in the era of Trump. So if you're seen at ever criticizing a Democrat, you must be somehow a Trump supporter, which I'm not. I'm actually a progressive, and I want Medicare for all. And the Democrats are the ones standing in the way of it, and they now have control of every lever of government, and everyone sees it. And what are they spending their time doing? Not helping me, not getting $2,000 checks out. They're busy impeaching a guy who's not even in office anymore. That's because, and they stop talking about Medicare for all. So here we are in the middle of a pandemic and the worst economic downturn in the history, and these motherfuckers won't even get relief to people in COVID. No other country is doing it like this. No other country is doing it like the United States. Canada, for instance, they've been giving every person up there $2,000 a month since COVID started. Every person, $2,000 a month. Plus, they already have health care. And somehow that's how it works. The media could make me look like the asshole when I'm just trying to get them things that is the basics of what fucking governments are supposed to be providing people. The basics. And so you found out the media, owned by 5 corporations, they're going to protect the Democrats and they're going to come after activists. And by the way, the people who are supposed to be activists on the left, who are supposed to be pushing, supposed to be doing what I had to do because no one else was doing it, got revealed that they're not really doing it. So the DSA, everybody's like, you got to join the DSA, the DSA. Well, the fucking DSA, the idea that I got is right out of their playbook, and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't cross the Democrats. They're just fucking Democrats.
It's insane, man.
So that's what I've been living through. You would have think they caught me putting cyanide in baby formula. I fucking was doing something that everyone agreed was a great idea before I brought it up.
Yeah,
It's
I
in
mean, I
the
don't know why
DSA's
that's
fucking
controversial.
handbook. Look at the DSA's fucking handbook. It's in there. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
Man, wow, dude, I didn't know that was happening to you. I watched the Cornell West thing.
Then I went on Tucker Carlson to advocate for Julian Assange to get a pardon from Trump the week he was handing out pardons. And I went on Tucker Carlson because I know Donald Trump fucking watches Tucker Carlson. And I went on there, and with the last time I went on, before this, I advocated that. I said, don't listen to those guys standing next to you. You advocate $2,000 checks. Whatever Nancy Pelosi offers in the stimulus, you double it.
Yeah.
And guess what? Guess who fucking started asking for $2,000 checks? Coincidentally. So I went back on Tucker Carlson to advocate for Julian Assange. He brought me on to talk about censorship. I shifted the conversation to Julian Assange and getting him a pardon. And I gave all the reasons why Trump should do it. I mean, reasons that would make sense to Trump.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, Tucker Carlson said, Jimmy, I used to think the other way on Julian Assange, but based partly on the strength of your arguments, Jimmy, I have changed my mind. Now, that is the right-wing host of the #1 news show in America saying that I came on, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do as a progressive. Like when Bernie Sanders went on Fox News during the campaign, he didn't change who he was. He brought his message to people who never hear it, so they get a chance to hear it, which is exactly what I do when I go on Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson admitted it worked. I changed his fucking mind on Julian Assange. Imagine what that did for his audience, the #1 right-wing audience. They all probably, a lot of them changed their minds too because Tucker changed his mind on Julian Assange. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have a message for people.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Yeah. You're, I've always found your arguments to be very straight and sensical and like, I don't understand why they're controversial. Like, right? Like, so
They're controversial because they expose the Democrats aren't doing a fucking thing for you. They expose the one-party system, and they expose that the people who claim to be fighting against the Democrats inside the Democratic Party aren't actually doing that. And that's injurious for their careers. And so that's also injurious for places like The Intercept, who've made their fucking, but their whole identity is following around the squad and boosting them up. And so now they've been literally out there trying to smear people like me who've been advocating for Medicare for all in the middle of a deadly pandemic. There's your lefty fucking news organizations. And that's why there's no left in America.
Well, how can anything get done anyway? I mean, if you have the majority and you're trying to be on the right side of history, like what are they worried about at this point? To not do those things, right? To not have Medicare for all, like.
Well,
it seems like we could do so many things better, right?
There's a handful of people who run the country, and they also own the Democrats and Republicans. They all work for the same people. And so they don't want us to have health care because it's very profitable for them. And so therefore we don't have it. That's it. That's as simple as I can. I mean, it's right out in the open, and they don't, Barack Obama, when he left office, the first thing he did when he came back into public life was give 4 speeches for fucking Wall Street at the $500,000 a clip. And they do it right out in the fucking open.
Yeah.
So how can, and right now I live in California, you live in California, we have a super majority Democrat legislature, super majority, and we have a Democratic governor, meaning they can do any fucking thing they want.
Yeah.
There's people sleeping under every fucking bridge in Los Angeles. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, it's bad.
Right? Where's everybody's under mountains of student debt? People don't have health care. People are sleeping under every fucking bridge. What the fuck? This is what you get from supermajority Democrats?
Could it just be complete ineptitude, though?
I wish that's what it was.
You think
no,
so?
That we live in a fucking corrupt system. This isn't a secret. I mean, we all know that they do what they don't. So they did a study at Princeton, and it proved that we live in an oligarchy. What they found was that legislation correlated exactly to income. So if you were in the upper 10% of income earners, if let's say half of them wanted something to happen legislatively, well, half the time it would happen. So there was a correlation between what the upper 10% of income earners wanted and what actually happened legislatively. The bottom 80% had absolutely no effect. Their legislation never reflects their wants or desires. That was proven by the Princeton study about 4 years ago. That's what. So everybody was screaming that somehow Trump is taking away our democracy. And I'm like, your democracy was taken away from you a long fucking time ago. We now have the appearance of democracy. We now have the appearance. There was no way I could vote for an anti-Wall Street candidate in my lifetime. Yeah. There was no way I could vote for an anti-Wall in the general election. Every time you vote, you have to vote for I'll tell you who's won every election since 1980. Goldman Sachs, Bank of America. That's who's been winning the elections. So Jamie Dimon, that's who's been winning the elections. And the military industrial complex. And everybody's happy that the Joe Biden Secretary of Defense is an African American, because it's historic. And what they don't tell you, and what they don't make a big deal out of, that they had to get a special waiver for him because he was working for Raytheon. And so a guy from a weapons manufacturer right now, we're supposed to be excited that a weapons manufacturer, and the joke I do, we're supposed to be excited that because he's African-American, we're supposed to, forget all the corruption that's happening and all the warmongering and imperialism that's going on. Well, we don't have healthcare back at home. And the joke I do about it, someone actually wrote this in the comments under one of my YouTube. It said, the ideal, if it was 1860, the Democrats would be bragging about their first transgendered slave owner.
Jesus.
So that's the world. And so I push back against the Democratic Party. I don't get attacked from the right. I don't get Republicans or right wingers coming at me. I get Democrats coming at me because I'm exposing the fact that there isn't an opposition party in America. When Nancy Pelosi ripped up Donald Trump's speech and everybody creamed themselves, what they didn't realize is that she had just gotten done passing his entire legislative agenda, including money for the fucking border wall. And they gave him an extra $132 billion to do fucking war with. While they're still saying you can't have health care, while they're still saying you can't get a stimulus. And that's not once. That's every fucking year from now until perpetuity. They're going to spend an extra $138 billion since 2016 on bombs. And we don't have a fucking enemy. We're keep inventing them. Russia has an economy that's smaller than California's.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts, dude. I mean,
and they have fucking health care.
National health care, huh? Yeah,
in Russia. Yes. Everybody has fucking health care except the United States. And gross. Even if you have fucking insurance, if you get sick, there's a good chance you're still going to go fucking bankrupt.
Yeah. Nuts. What do we do? Where do we go, Jimmy?
Well, I thought Bernie Sanders was going to use the power of his movement to direct them to do direct action. And we would have strikes and we would have shutdowns and we would cause hell, right? Like AOC said when she ran, we have to cause a ruckus. We have to stop using polite language when you have to start making people uncomfortable. That's what they were all saying when they ran. And I believe them.
Yeah.
But that is the only thing that can save this country at this point. It's certainly not going to come from inside the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. That's not happening. I was trying to prop up. I was working. I'm going to with this party, the People's Party, which has been started by this guy Nick Brana, who used to work with the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2016, and he's trying to start. It's obvious that politically we need a third party. that polls at least 10%. So then nobody can get elected without you, and you become the kingmaker, just like the squad was the kingmaker in this speakership election, although they didn't flex their leverage. So if you're polling at 10%, now you're the kingmaker. So and you have influence, and now people have to adopt your ideas. And so I think, electorally, and that's, by the way, that's a big build, because now everybody's coming at. So now you watch the articles from The Intercept and Newsweek. They're going to be slandering that party because they're in bed with the fucking Democrats, right? So, but if Dylan Radigan was on my show and he predicted the United States would slide into being like Brazil, that people would just take it, and they are. People are just taking no $2,000 checks. They're just taking that. The government has just turned its back on people. That how the fuck can you close someone's business and not give them a paycheck and then tell them they can't? What the fuck? And that is the crazy. They're not doing that in other countries. Other countries are giving them. If in Japan they close down your business, they give you 95% of your pay. In the UK, Germany, France, they're fucking. Everybody's getting money. If they close your business down, they're paying the workers.
Yeah.
They're not doing that in the United States.
So it looks to me, and I'm not as deep in it as you are. Obviously, I had to tap out after a certain point because it's just maddening. But like, if you look at the way the pandemic was handled up until basically 2-3 weeks ago, do you have any hope that we'll bring some sort of right side of history, more logic and reason into things, and maybe we're just dealing with the pandemic first?
Well, the first thing I would do if I was in power during a pandemic is you give people health care. They're not fucking doing that. The second thing I would do if I had to close down people's businesses because of the contagion, I would make sure that we had a relief bill for those people. And so nobody was fucking stressed out and they were going bankrupt during a fucking pandemic and they didn't have health care. So those would be the two fucking first things I did. You know what the Democrats did? The first fucking thing they did? The first thing Joe Biden did on day one was he ran tanks into fucking Syrian oil fields. That's on fucking day one. On day two, they started a fucking impeachment of a guy who wasn't even in office. I'm still waiting for my fucking check and my fucking health care. It ain't coming.
Fuck. It's all just like it just makes everything seem fake. Like where can you rely on,
fake.
Right?
Remember, when you turn on MSNBC or when you turn on CNN or Fox News, remember the primary objective, as Noam Chomsky taught us in Manufacturing Consent, the primary objective of the news media is to make money, consolidate power, and forward the interest and manufacture consent around the establishment's ideas. That's exactly what they're there for. That's their primary function. And then if they can get you news too, that's maybe.
Fuck, man. It's nutty. You are I had no idea. I knew you've been doing really, really well with the channel and with, living your kind of without a filter, which has got to be so refreshing for you. But now you're saying so basically, what do you do now if everybody's coming at you? Just let it wash over and there'll be some other thing to attack later. You know what I mean? Because you definitely seem like you're not giving up, which is great.
Well, it certainly drives them crazy that I don't have a manager that they can call and get me fired. Yeah. So it does drive them crazy. And what people don't realize, what happened with someone like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan actually is not alt-right. What happened was Joe Rogan was to the left of the Democratic Party. What do you mean, Jimmy? Well, he endorsed first Tulsi Gabbard and then Bernie Sanders. Those are two of the farthest left people in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And so they had to somehow diminish. Here's the number one talk show host in America, and he's endorsing Bernie Sanders, a guy who they can't not have. If Bernie Sanders was the nominee, those people would all voted Trump. I mean, all the people at MSNBC. So they can't have that. And now I forgot. I lost my fucking train of thought.
You were saying what happened to Joe Rogan?
Oh, so what happened to Joe Rogan was he got to the left of the Democratic Party. So when he endorsed Bernie Sanders, they attacked him as a misogynist and as alt-right because he was to their left. That's the irony there. And so that same thing happened to me. I saw a guy give a speech on Inauguration Day, and his name was, he was a Boogaloo boy. Mm-hmm. And he came out and said that he was there with an Antifa person and a Black Lives Matter person, and they were together. And he was saying we have more in common than separates us. Don't listen to the establishment. And so I thought, wow, what the fuck is this, right? So I bring the guy on my show, and he tells me he's pro Black Lives Matter, that they had provided security for Black Lives Matter all summer, that they're anti-cop, they're anti-racist, and they're pro-LGBTQ, and they're anti-ICE. And I was like, well, that's weird. I thought you guys were all fucking right-wing racist gun nuts, but it turns out you guys are just gun nuts, the Boogaloo boys. And so I looked it up in the ADL, which has a history of being hard on people and calling people racist more often than not. Their description of the Boogaloo Boys was they are not a white supremacist and that they're anti-government, anti-Trump, and pro-Black Lives Matter. And I was like, well, that guy wasn't shitting me. So for me, just interviewing that guy on my show, I trended 2 days straight on fucking Twitter, and people were attacking me, calling me a white supremacist because I interviewed a guy. And nobody watched that interview. That's the thing. People conflate that guy with Proud Boys. So anyway, it doesn't even matter.
How much of that noise is real, though?
It doesn't even fucking matter. I should be able to interview any fucking... I grew up when I was a kid, Phil Donahue used to have the KKK on his show all the time. The idea that you need to shine a spotlight on everything.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and the people, they can't stand it. They can't. And so what we need to do is what they're afraid of is class solidarity. So a Fred Hampton movie, didn't it just come out? So I haven't seen it, but I know Fred Hampton's history. And Fred Hampton was an amazing leader, a civil rights leader in the 60s in Chicago, where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And he recognized that it was race, but it was more class. And so he aligned with the Young Patriots, the YPO, which they were Southern racists. They were also poor. And they were also discriminated against in Chicago because they were poor and they were from the South. And so Fred Hampton reached out to them, and he started to intermix with them, and to the point where he became friends with them and would sleep on their couch. And he got them to drop their racism, recognize their class struggle, and they got rid of their Confederate flag. And guess what? That's when they fucking killed him. When did they kill Martin Luther King? When he turned against the war and was going to was doing economic justice. That's when they killed him. So that's what they can't have. They can't have class solidarity. And so I took all the slings and arrows, again, being called every name in the book. It's amazing that I can cause such a stir just by doing good work, because it shows you how the lack of good work there is in journalism today. And it's, Bill Clinton passed the Telecommunications Act in 1996. At that moment, we had 50 giant media companies in America. 50. Yeah. They were giants. Now we have 5, 6, maybe.
Yeah.
And they own every TV station. They own every newspaper, every magazine, everything, every radio, every cable outlet. It's owned by those same handful of billionaires run this country, and they set the agenda.
Crazy. I did a paper in graduate school on that, but from the lens of music, like because all the record companies consolidated, You know, there used to be all these independent record labels. They all got bought up, and pretty soon there was only like 3 record companies. And it's not good for anybody.
Well, that's what they say. You know, capitalism eats itself. And that's where we're at. You know, George Carlin talked about the illusion of choice. You have the illusion of choice. You have 2 political parties owned by the same people. And you have 2 insurance companies. I don't even, you know, most places only have 1 now, health insurance. He goes, but I have 23 flavors of yogurt.
Yeah.
So we make the mistake of thinking because I have a lot of different choices in toothpaste and skin cream that somehow I have freedom.
Yeah, he was on that. He knew so long ago. He's been, you know, George Carlin talked about this forever, you know.
I just
it's funny because I was so relieved when the election was over, and I stayed up and I watched them count the electoral votes till 1:30 in the morning out here, and I was like, all right, well, at least we're going to keep the Constitution alive, but there's a lot of people in there that really are just not good people, like to have just been attacked, and they're like, yeah, but we still want to count these votes,
and they still didn't give people fucking health care or fucking COVID relief, even that. Yeah. And now we're supposed to care about their pain. You know, it's supposed to be the opposite. We elect politicians to go address our fucking problems and our pain. We're not supposed to address their fucking problems. Fuck you. Hey, guess what? Here's a headline from Politico. What's the date on this? Oh, from the 13th. So this is from Saturday. This is from Politico. I don't know if I'll hold it up. I don't know if you can see what it says. Is it backwards? Does it read backwards or does it read forward?
Massive cuts to Medicare, Farm Aid. Wow.
Biden stimulus gamble, massive cuts to Medicare and Farm Aid. That's Biden's massive. So the guy's been wanting to cut Medicare and fucking Social Security his entire career. I got tape of him fucking saying his entire career. Tape. I got video. Tape.
What are you gonna?
Tape.
What are you?
I said tape.
What's the alternative? I mean, you know, we have to have.
That they've made sure there isn't an alternative. They've made sure. The first job of the Democratic Party is to squash the candidate of the workers, and they did that, and that was Bernie Sanders, and they did it twice. And then Bernie Sanders, like a good boy, instead of fighting them, went right along with them because he doesn't want to end up like Ralph Nader. So I hate to be the pessimist of all time, but things are going to shit, and it's not going to get better unless people rise up. I predict they're not going to. I mean, they did riot all fucking summer, and what did they get for it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. The Democrats elected the guy who wrote the fucking crime bill. That's who they nominated, and California's top cop. What the fuck? That's what they got after a whole summer of police protests. They got the 2 worst fucking people running.
It's madness, dude.
It is madness, dude. It is, you know, before the pandemic, 80% of workers were living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
80% of hourly workers were living paycheck to paycheck before the pandemic.
And we're a year in.
And again, other countries, right-wing countries, right-wing governments are not doing it like we are doing it. We're the only government doing this to its own fucking people. And nobody can explain why, but they certainly don't talk about it on the fucking news.
No. And it's funny because it's not funny. I feel like a sucker a lot of times for, you know, take the pandemic, for example, like, it certainly seems like, I don't want to get it. It seems real, and nothing has changed other than the vaccines now since last January. But yet there are states that are just wide open, and there's people running around like there's no pandemic. And then you're just like, well, what the hell's actually going on around here? It's all fake news. There is no real story. We can't like get to the bottom of shit. It doesn't seem like.
And everybody's Governor Cuomo was cutting fucking Medicaid and money for healthcare in the middle of the fucking pandemic. That barely got covered. Also, he just got found out that he was lying about the data, and they were sending old people back to old folks' homes from the hospital to die, to get COVID and fucking die, and they were covering that up. Now what's going to happen to him? Probably nothing.
Yeah, nothing happens to any of them.
I know.
Ugh. I don't know about you, man, but I just want to go buy property and somewhere and just go off the grid and just turn it all off sometimes, like I think that about social media. Like we haven't used it for good like we could have, right? It got away from us, right? So, but like all this talk about it's just like, well, you know what? We could turn it off. It wasn't here 10 years ago, like
I had to take Twitter off my phone. That is a little bit too, whatever that is, it's not good for my brain.
Yeah.
I have to seriously limit my Twitter time.
Yeah. Even when you curate your feed to be generally something you're into, and in your case, if you're taking all kinds of heat and stuff, I mean, it's you can't ignore it. You can only turn so many notifications. Many notifications off.
Well, I when you log into Twitter and you're trending, and everyone's attacking you in a bad faith way, it's tough.
How much of that though is just like noise you could ignore though?
Well, that's what I'm ignoring it now.
Yeah,
that's why I decided like, well, fuck, Joe Rogan gave me some great advice on that. He's like, he goes, don't read anything that people write about you, and take Twitter off your phone. I took it off my phone.
Yeah, it seems like that's the healthy move.
I didn't read those articles. I didn't read the article in fucking Newsweek. I didn't read the fucking shit in the Washington Post. I don't. So, yeah.
Well, your intent is true. Your true north is good. Yes. You know what I mean? And you're doing everything to the best of your ability, research to the best of your ability. Like the biggest fault I would say is that you can find evidence to support almost anything, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So like even doing your best due diligence, you could screw it up. You could find things that aren't real or aren't completely vetted. You know what I mean? Like even the best intentions can get jacked in this current climate of you can find anything you want on the internet, but the politicians, does it seem to you like there's well, I don't know, the AOC thing is interesting. It seems like most of them don't realize that the internet exists and that everything they've ever said is captured, or they just don't give a shit.
It's amazing how often that happens. Yeah. I mean, when I was doing Force to Vote, I was just using their own words against them. I'm like, well, you said this when you were running. Now here it is. Hey, you tweeted this a couple weeks ago. Now's the time. Here it is. And even that, it's like, but honest, it's my cynicism can't keep up with the political reality, to put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably naive, but like I was on my homeowners association board for 5 years and it was inept. And I was like, oh, there's no way government could do anything well. Like this is a little town homeowners association that doesn't agree and can function. When you get to Congress and then to hear those people talk and the shit that they said on the podium before the insurrection, especially after the insurrection, and then most recently in the ones who voted not to impeach Trump this time, like, wow, they just don't give a shit. They're not in touch with, like, how did that get to be a lifetime job? Wasn't it supposed to be like a stint? You left your home, you went, did that for a couple of years and went back to your home and you swap out. Like, I wouldn't, okay, put it a different way. The guy, was 47 of them, right, that voted to not impeach Trump this time, right? Do Do you think that if they actually polled the people they represented in their town, they would have voted the same way? Or is this individuals trying to keep their gig? You know what I mean?
I
Do
think
the
that's
majority
why
of
those
people-
people voted that. I think that's why those people voted that way. Trump is still very popular. He's way more popular than Nancy Pelosi, for instance. And you couldn't get the Democrats to oppose her. It's just crazy, you know. And the idea that government can do good things, government Medicare. When Medicare was implemented, the poverty rate of senior citizens was 33%. 10 years later, it was 11%. That was a big dent into the poverty rate of senior citizens to give them Medicare. And Lyndon Johnson gave them Medicare. FDR gave us Social Security. Those things, that Social Security works like a charm. And Medicare is the most popular healthcare program in the country. So those are two things that this idea that if you privatize something, it's going to make it better is not true. Right. Private health insurance is ridiculous.
Yeah, that one is a mystery, man. I don't understand how that can. I mean, how that can keep winning when it's so obvious that it's a major problem, and it doesn't make any sense. You know, like you. I don't know, man. It just seems so logical and so simple.
There's an owner class in America. There's an owner, just like George Carlin said. There's an owner class, and you know that whole to watch the Democrats and Trump fight for the last 4 years, especially when Nancy Pelosi had the speakership, it was like watching professional wrestling because just like wrestling, they're both getting paid by the same guy. The outcome is predetermined. Now they have to go put on a show to make it look like they're really fighting each other.
Yeah.
They weren't. Nancy Pelosi passed his entire fucking legislative agenda. The only shit that they were fighting over was window dressing. By the way, we still spend more on bombs than the next 13 fucking countries combined.
Yeah,
so
it's craziness too.
And still no health care, people living under every bridge. We never got an infrastructure plan. We don't have a jobs plan. Everybody's under mountains of student debt. We're doing it to ourselves. It's we live in a rapacious oligarchy.
So where should we go?
I'm gonna see if I can go to Italy.
Are you really?
See, I would love to. I went there for the first time in my life in 2018. I'd never been to Italy, and I was like, "Let's do it." I'm 53, so we went, and it's
beautiful.
It's like I'm in a different world. I loved it. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's hard for us to, growing up here, you kind of get beaten into thinking that it's the greatest thing in the world, right? So it's hard to shake that.
Yes.
But then you go to Europe and you're like, well, this is pretty awesome.
This is amazing. This beats the fuck out of a strip mall.
There's culture and old stuff and really good food. And
God, and a tomato tastes like a fucking tomato.
Italy's pretty special, man.
You're like, what did you get? Yeah. What did you put in this tomato? No, we just grow it on Mount Vesuvius. Oh, fuck. That's good. Yeah, it's that volcanic soil. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything's. I was in Sorrento where they have the lemons. They're fucking this big and they know how to live.
Europe has got a handle on that. I mean, think how we're like teenagers over here, you know, and they're just like, come on, man, this city's been here for 1,000 years. We know what we're doing, you know? Yeah. And they chill out and they don't sweat stuff. And it's a different thing, but you're almost like prejudiced against being there. Like I didn't ever grow up thinking I would want to live anywhere else but here. But these last couple of years, you start thinking like, well, maybe we could go somewhere else where people would just leave me alone and aren't so. It's very weird. I think there's reasons to be here that are spectacular. California in particular, you know, to be able to do what you've done now. You can go. You could go now. You could still do what you're doing, probably fairly equally as well.
I mean,
anywhere.
Glenn Greenwald lives in Brazil, and he's an American journalist. It doesn't seem to slow him down one bit.
Yeah, I mean, other than going and once you can fly again and get around again with a passport, you can just do that and pursue it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let me switch gears on you real quick because I want to ask you something that I think you are particularly you'll have a colorful answer for. So, what do you miss the most from prior to the pandemic? And the second part is, what is going to change for you for good? Like, you're never going back to X, Y, and Z. Like, after the pandemic, what have you learned through this that will impact you in perpetuity?
So many things. Honestly, I did a lot of internal work during the summer. I took a journey inward. He who looks outward. What is it? He who looks outward dreams. He who looks inward awakes. But the biggest lifestyle change for me was obviously not performing. And that's such an elixir for me emotionally.
Yeah.
It fills in a lot of the wounds and all the hard the blows you take during the day and week, and it soothes all those. It's like a nice massage for me. It is. Mm-hmm. And I need that to stay balanced, and I haven't had that, so I haven't been so balanced.
Yeah.
Restaurants. I realized how much I lived my life in restaurants because I don't have kids.
Yeah.
And but one of the great things is that I got back into cooking again, which I love cooking, and I love cooking Italian. Yeah. And, I'm really figuring out how to nail a cacio e pepe. I'm really figuring out how to do a carbonara. Really, there's different techniques to use. So I'm trying them all, and I'm figuring it out. I'm really figuring out how to use the pasta water more to kind of emulsify sauces, and it's. I've started making pestos that are just. I got this olive oil. I got this article that said most of the olive oil you've been eating is fucking, not olive oil. It's not pure. They put bullshit in there to stretch it. I'm like, what? Yeah. So I said, well, I'm going to do a thing. Well, I'm going to make sure I get good olive oil. So I Googled what's the 10 best olive oils in the world, whatever. And so, it comes up these so you can order it, right? And so I did. I ordered a box of olive oil from this place in not Tuscany, but Sicily. And what this guy does is he picks his olives a couple of weeks before they're ripe all the way, right? And what that does, it gives you less olive oil. You get less when you squeeze it, but you get a brighter, kind of a younger, fresher oil to it, more grassy and stuff. And it's super green. And so anyway, I got it. Oh, fucking amazing. And so I started making these pestos, and I started making pesto pizza, and I started getting these pastas from Italy that they make special with the special wheat. And anyway, so I just been having a blast doing that. What will change forever? Well, I'll be changed forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my buddy we were talking about, like, how after the Great Depression, like, our grandparents, folks that went through it and lived through it, were forever changed in how they thought about money, or, like, stuffing cash in their mattresses and stuff like that. And he's like, I think we're going to be the people that in social settings are like, just like backing away a little bit, like, Yeah,
I guess handshakes are over, right?
I guess, man, but I feel like we'll go back to it. I feel like this will get, maybe. I was never, but see, I like hugs. I was like a hugger. I liked hugs, and I can't even fathom now. Like, it just seems like
it's gotta be killing Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's sniffing and the hugging. Yeah, I mean, I was producing shows, and now I'm like, I don't know if I want to put myself or other people at risk. Like, when can we go back into a closed room? All that kind of stuff. So you were saying before, like performing, missing performing, and I thought, I realized what I really missed was hanging out and performing. Right. So the performing was only part of it. It was the hanging out. So like starting a podcast and during the pandemic was my little like way to even get any of that. But what's funny is like I wanted to have it so it would be like a green room situation, like after show vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So, but your mindset and your adrenaline and the way you feel after a show doesn't exist unless you just had a show.
Yes, that's right.
So like the first couple I was just like, I don't feel like it's after a show.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an afterglow after a set, you know?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a different headspace. You have a different energy. It's almost like you just came out of a if you did it right, it's almost like you came out of a meditation, because in order to do stand-up comedy right, you know, you have to be present in the moment. And that's one of the few times of the day, or maybe the only time of the day, when I'm not thinking about the future and I'm not regretting the past. I'm present when I'm performing normally. And if I'm not, people can tell, and I don't do a good job. But if I'm doing a good job, that means I'm present. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm right here in the moment. And when you're able to do that, it's energizing.
Yeah.
And so that's often when you come off stage, you have all this fucking energy, and it's not like you could go, I'm going to go to bed. You can't fucking go to bed.
No matter what time it is. No matter what time it is.
If you know.
Yeah.
So, so so it is kind of like that. It is kind of like a meditation in a sense. It is certainly spiritual. It certainly can be soulful.
Yeah.
And yet it's also, you're right. The hanging out part is really nourishing. It's really nourishing to especially to hang out with comedians, because other people aren't comedians. They just aren't. Other people, no matter how funny they are, they're not fucking comedians, and they don't understand. And anyway, I grew, I came up in a time, I don't know if comedy's still like this with the younger people, but the funniest thing you could say around comedians was the most inappropriate thing you could say at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most darkest, the most inappropriate, the meanest, the most disgusting, whatever it was. That's the fucking funniest thing. And regular people just don't understand that shit.
Oh God, man. It is so weird how that happens. I remember when you came out to Brewing Comedy, you were like, I'm so glad I did this because you got me out of the house.
So that's another thing too, like I started doing my show, and I'm really into my show, right?
Yeah.
And I put a lot of energy into that. But when you do it in front of a camera, it has the opposite effect. It drains you.
Yeah.
So when I'm done with the show, I'm drained. I don't feel like going out. I want to smoke a bowl and eat a pizza. Yeah. Right. That's what I feel. I like, oh God, I need a massage, and I want to smoke, and I just want to chill out and think about what I did. I also often have a ton of regrets about the shit I just said. So I gotta go over all that shit and think about if I want to edit, and then it's like, oh, go out and do comedy. And it's just like, I live in Pasadena, so it was always a pain in the ass, right? You got to get down there, is fucking that.
Yeah.
And then if I can't drink, because I got to drive back, and it's like, fuck, and
yeah. So,
and it's, and then, I have my own audience now, so I don't need to go out and further my career anymore. My career is made. Are you going to
do live shows now?
That's all I ever wanted to do. It's done. I don't need to go get on TV. I don't need to go get on someone else's show. I don't need to go make my name and I already did that. I already made my name. I already fucking did that. And now because of YouTube, I'm able to sell out theaters. And so I don't need any of that anymore. Yeah. I'm not looking for a job in Hollywood. And so consequently it's easy to stay at home couch locked, right? Yeah. And now I super regret the times I didn't go out because of fucking COVID.
Yeah.
But it's I'll have to, when COVID's over, hopefully it'll be over at some point and we can go back to fucking doing shows.
Yeah.
But you know, I should have went. I mean, the Comedy Store really got to be a fun place.
Yeah.
And I should have went more. You know, and I would go to Flappers. I would have fun at Flappers, because it was closest to my house. I would drive to Flappers, and I would go do a set. And you know, it felt great. And so yeah, I could have gotten out more. And it is the hang. The hang is it's psychologically it nourishes you that you need as a comedian, the company of other comedians. I do anyway.
Yeah, no, literally that's why I started this, because I was like, well, shit, I keep encouraging other comics to do it. And, you know, because, you know, from an equipment standpoint and knowing how to do it standpoint, I know how to do that stuff because I'm a musician. So I was like, well, fuck, I got to do it myself because I miss it too. Like I was producing 2 shows a month, probably 10, 12 comedians a month hanging out, you know, and it's not like a daily thing at the store or something, but it was a lot for me and it was a lot of fun, and just cut that off completely. And so we're all struggling. I think we're all struggling from this a year in. Nobody thought it would be a year of not being able to do the things you want to do for the most part. So yeah, it's a crazy time to even consider what's next after this, but I have to be optimistic, you know, but like, I think like you could do shows and you could also do your show live, I would think too, like in cities once we come back too, right?
Well, I did. I used to do live Jimmy Dore shows on the road all the time. That's what I miss doing. I would take video, and it was like, you know, it was fantastic. It was great.
That was the theater shows, was the live Jimmy Dore?
Yeah. So I would come out and I would do maybe 20 minutes of stand-up, and then we'd jump into a live Jimmy Dore show. I'd bring out a panel, and we'd show video clips, and we'd go into it, and it was fantastic.
That's rad. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was, I miss it so much. I can't even tell you. I mean, you know, I put a lot of work into the show, the live show. The live shows were, it wasn't a podcast. It was a show. I had jokes for every clip. I had a through line. I had things that were, I had a closer.
Yeah.
I had an opener. You know what I mean? It was a real fucking show. And then there were spaces for topical news things to happen, and so it was a real show. And so I know a lot of people do live podcasts and stuff. This was not a live podcast. This was a live show. Yeah.
So you, I believe it's going to come back exponentially bigger once we can. I think people are going to be dying for it, like cannot wait to get back into those types of things once they feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be a while.
I mean, I do these Zoom shows. It's really brutal. It's hard to do. I mean, it's fun. I'm glad people like them.
Yeah.
And but it's. I mean, I'm glad we can do it, and I'm glad people want to see it. So I've been doing that. I don't do stand up on the Zoom.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, we do a different thing.
Yeah. It's hard to do stand up in this environment. Like it's not even the same thing. It's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't even imagine doing stand up on a Zoom. I did a show at a bowling alley parking lot.
Oh yeah.
People were in their cars. I like that. Was actually okay, because if they don't laugh, you don't really feel it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't really. It was kind of, and it was fun. You got the hang, the camaraderie part.
Yeah.
You know, we're all wearing masks, but you still got to say hi to fucking people.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now I think I'm trying to think if anybody hugged each other. I wonder. I can't remember. I can't remember how we greeted each other. Isn't that funny?
The elbow thing is strange to me, but I guess it makes sense. You know, you're not, but it's going to be weird.
You're supposed to sneeze into your elbow, and then you fucking go elbow people. I don't think that's a good idea.
You don't greet with the sneeze elbow.
Oh yeah, do the other. Yeah, okay. But how do you know that guy's giving you the non-sneeze elbow?
You just gotta, put your faith in the common in the people of the land.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! It's not so. Anything coming up that you wanna plug or talk about?
Everybody, check out the Jimmy Dore show.
How often do you do it?
They're gonna come for me.
You put it all out there, man. How often are you putting it out?
So we usually drop around 21 videos a week.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So about 3 videos a day we normally drop. But I've been wanting to take a little time off, so we might start taking more time off.
That's impressive, man. You have a crew now, I guess, right?
Of course. Yeah. It takes it takes a crew of people to do this stuff. To do it at that rate and do it at a level, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how to edit, and I don't know how to do that shit. I don't know how to run a camera or fucking edit a video. Or
did you have to build the studio at your house, or are you going somewhere?
No, I built it here. It's in my garage.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, that's right. I'm in it right now. Here it is.
Oh wow! Holy shit! That's cool. That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. I have to tell you, dude. We met a long time ago at Flappers, and you were always very kind. And
thank God.
Hey, buddy.
Thank God I wasn't having a bad day. Thank fucking God.
No, we had a good hang in the green room, and I just, your set was incredible, and just really had a good time. So I really appreciate you taking the time, and I know it was I know I'm honored, honestly, very honored to get your time to chat with you. And
oh, my pleasure, man. It's a great hang. Thanks for having me.
I wish you all the best with all this stuff, man. Don't listen to the bullshit. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. And I need to pay more attention to you, I think, and this stuff, because everybody needs to pay attention to it. Otherwise, it just will roll over us, I guess, right?
It already did.
Well, maybe we can turn it around. I don't know. In the next generation, I don't know. But I hope you do well, and we'll chat soon, man. I really appreciate you, Jimmy.
Okay, I appreciate you saying that, Matt. I appreciate you. Take care. Is that you got a kid there?
Yeah. He's
Look at you, huh? All grown up.
Yeah. Crazy, man. They're good.
All right, man.
They're good.
Matt, great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Jimmy, thanks, buddy. Be well.
Bye.
This affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you ain't never gonna win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. Yes, I've got you under my skin. Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be too wise. I said, now, hey there, you on that high-flying cloud. Though she won't throw a crumb to you, you think someday she'll come to you. Baby, better forget her with her nose in sacrifice.